Hello and welcome to another one of my videos, and as you can see in this video I have the engine out of the bike. So I have one frame without an engine in and one engine without a frame on. These CX engines are easy to get out because they're a stressed member of the bike and of the frame. Basically it's just a matter of unbolting 8 screws, or bolts I should say, and then literally dropping it out onto a pallet and then getting yourself and your better half to come along, carry it up and put it onto this very fetching workbench here. So yeah, so that's all out. When it's out, I'm going to have a look over all the gubbins. Now in the CX world, there's a procedure called a triple bypass, which is basically changing the mechanical water seal in the pump, looking at the stator, changing the stator, and also changing the cam chain. I'm going to definitely change the water seal because of how old it is. It's just when I'm here I might as well do it because it's an easy job. The stator I know is fine because I've already checked the resistances of it, but when I'm here I might as well take the back case off and just have a look what's inside of this case, and also have a look at the cam chain. Now I know this engine was a recall because Trevor, who owned this bike beforehand, did have to take it back to the dealership to get the modifications done to fix the fault. Now, this engine doesn't have the 3 pin stamps at the end of the engine number, which normally designates it's been done. However, I know a lot of garages just didn't do it because, well, they either forgot or just couldn't be bothered to put the stamps on the engine to say it's been modified. But I'm pretty sure, by the sound of it, how many miles it's done, and because it's actually been in its life to get the cam belt done, that this modification would have been done. But when I've got it all open, I'll be able to see. So yeah, that's something I'm going to be doing with the engine, and also just the general maintenance and things just before I put it in the engine. Because put it in the frame, because it's a lot easier working on an engine when it's on the bench like this. Another thing I'm going to do is, or might do, I'm debating, is take a feed off this sender unit for the oil pressure. So basically what I'll do is this is all MPT 1/8 fittings. Is basically put a MPTT on here, put the sender unit on one side, and then take a capillary off up to a mechanical pressure gauge, which I'm planning on mounting to the radiator mounts, because they're rubberized. I'm thinking that'll take some of the vibration out of the gauge. But I think it'll be a nice little touch. I like my gauges, and it'll also be just something there to watch what the oil pressure's doing in the bike. So yeah, that's another thing that I'm going to be doing, or hopefully doing. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to or not. So yeah, that's why I'm humming and hawing. And then basically just give it a good clean up. I'm not going to paint it, I'm just going to basically give it a good brush up. Maybe paint these Honda logos here with some of my enamel paint from my Tamiya toys. Toys, I say, kits. So to bring them up nicely, and I'm also going to be polishing the heads. I'm either polishing them or making them matte black, one of the two, but I'm swaying towards polishing at the moment. And I've also got to do the thermostat in here, because the thermostat is totally buggered, I would guess, because it's all yucky in there and varnished up, so I don't think that's ever going to work. Might as well change it, it's only a couple of quid part. Moving on to the frame, things I'm going to be doing is cutting the back end off, because that's part of the kit which I'll be going through. I'll be taking the back swing arm off and the wheel, doing all that to get sent away from powder coat. Taking all the rests off, which is always fun, because a lot of the times this main rest here, people pick the bikes up off cocks, so one of the feet go on, then they lift it up and the other one goes, and it bends the centre rod which it pivots on. And when that happens, it's a right arse to get out. So I'm hoping that hasn't happened to this one. If it is, it's going to be a lot of swearing and a lot of hitting with a hammer and drills, and it's just nothing I want to do. So anyway, moving on. Switch gear is still on in the handlebars. That has to be taken off. I'm going to be reusing the switch gear. I'm not going to be reusing the master cylinder, because as you all know, I have a new master cylinder and clutch lever off eBay. Nice red and black number. One thing I've noticed is this clutch lever mount here is actually physically mounted onto the switch gear, so I'm going to have to take a Dremel to this and lop that off, take it off, and then put this on here. Part of me doesn't like actually basically cutting this off, because all this is a nice pristine unit. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to sacrifice this for this project because I think it'll look good with the other levers on. I am also debating whether to do a front end conversion to this, getting some upside down superbike forks and actually putting them on full front end. So I'm wanting to try and find the wheels, the brakes, the forks, the triple trees, everything, and then basically doing the modifications that are needed, which is basically replacing the stem which is on that triple tree there and transplanted into the superbike frame triple trees, and then we should have a nice handling bike. I don't know whether I'm going to do that. I could just refurbish these forks and put some progressive springs in it, but after I've got the progressive springs, all the seals and everything, I'm basically already 60% there, well 60% there, getting a full superbike front end, so it's kind of just weighing that up. Other than that, that's what I need to do now. And once I've got all the frame modified and everything basically taken off, and then send all the parts off to powder coat, and then I need to try and find a painter to put my ideas of what I want this tank to look like onto the tank. I've got a lead in Darlington of a woman, I think, who actually does painting, and I've seen some of her work and it's quite good, so I'm thinking I'm going to go to her because I'm wanting to try and keep as much of what I'm doing up here in the northeast. Powder coating's in Keighley though, which is into Yorkshire way, but it's the best powder coaters I could find. So with that, that's the update of how the CX500 project is going. Hopefully in the next few weeks it'll be taking some big steps and I'll be getting ever more excited. I just hope the weather stays as it is. There's a few more parts out there. I've also got my A100 which I read down here on. That's working great if any of you want to know. And yeah, when winter comes in, really, I'm going to have to get a heater in here and a light because I'm going to be working in the dark because the nights are drawn in. But it should be a nice little cosy place in here to work. So anyway, as always, keep safe, ride safe, and I shall see you soon.